Hello and welcome. This is a second edition of the Daily Dharma today. I just kind of wanted to do a whatever comes out reading. And in the pre-shuffle, I had decided I was going to take an animal totem card first. And two of them popped out. And we got Hawk Messenger, which is one of my special totems. I love it when that one comes out. Hawk Messenger says, Spirit is sending you messages. Open your greater vision to see the signs. Focus on priorities and eliminate distractions. You have a bright future. Let yourself ascend to new heights. And that word distractions had come up previous to the Daily Dharma, and I didn't mention it. It's something about being in the earthly self versus this whole expansive self that's encapsulating us. It's like being stuck in the chaos and the distracting dynamics versus really awakening our greater awareness from an above perspective to see what's going on. And the sun keeps coming out, and look at the sun in the back. It's almost that Mayan sun. And then the second one, elephant, the great land record keeper. Greatness. Love is your strength. Leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. Elephants have so many magical things I could talk about, but the one that was coming up recently yesterday was circles. And somebody had asked me, in cemeteries sometimes, why do individuals bury in a circle? And I haven't seen that too many places, but in this cemetery I visited yesterday with someone, and it reminded me of the emerald tablets and how circles are seen as passageways to greater understanding, greater spiritual awareness, versus the angles being where the shadows and the darkness, not the good darkness, but those evil, nefarious elementals is the wrong word as well, forgive me, where those things reside. And so to avoid the angles and move towards the circles. And elephants bury not bury, but when one of their clan dies, they, I believe, put a bunch of branches and brush over the body, and then the whole herd goes and walks in a circle around this. I don't know if it's a number of times or what, but there's something here about taking the helm of something. If someone has stepped down or if somebody has passed away, having greater responsibility put upon you can sometimes feel quite insurmountable. I'll just use that word for lack of so many feelings coming to the forefront. But it's in your life path to have this leadership. You're the one that this time has been made for. You can overcome any adversity here and naturally and easily achieve success. So let's look under the deck. Coyote, revealer of truth. Don't take things too seriously. Make time to play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly. Look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. And I'm seeing, is that a deer back here? It is. Dear love, be gentle with yourself. You heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Acknowledge your self-worth and grace. Beautiful. And I see a little black-capped chickadee there on the card as well, which reminds me of some other individuals. I could go on and on with this deck, but I think that that's enough. And I wanted to then move into this archetypal deck, getting out some cards to do with the people within this dynamic, whether it's a group or aspects of self or aspects of those that surround you, or in a situation of great importance for you. Let's first look at Hawk Messenger, reminding me of Hermanubis, Hermes, and Egyptian lore as well. And Hawk can sometimes be quite an understated, overlooked energy. And it talks quite a bit about courage to walk one's own path. Let's take these ones that separated themselves off. Whew. Anima Mundi is first. So it's, my Latin is not on point, but I'm seeing so many things in this card. Anima Mundi talks about the animated spark of life in the entire world, I do believe. And I'm seeing this meditating being with a candle upside down towards the crown of the individual. And it's like one candle can light infinite more candles to an extent because of its nature, I guess I would say. I'm seeing a lot of the planets here, a hand, an eye. Anyways, moving into the meaning though. So Hawk in Messenger, it's as though to say that your path is protected. There's definitely something moving into fruition here. I'm seeing the concentric rings around that, like a pebble creating an impact. And I'm seeing you creating this animated impact upon your world, upon those that you're integrating into your life with. So focusing your energy towards your greater vision, on your priorities, and eliminating the distractions. There's something, where was that? It was in one of the other cards here, but I'm sensing that with the Hawk Messenger, you're able to gain that above perspective. And although others would come and perhaps pick at you or misunderstand you, your vantage point is such that others, I don't want to diminish other individuals, but for lack of vocabulary in the moment and in interest of time, the people that are just leading the distracted normalcy, that socialized, distracted, unhappy life for many, when they're connected at this level, you're up here speaking light code language and symbol language, and they're down here like, I don't even understand, and this isn't necessarily something that's coming forward as a specific situation for me, but overall, the higher your vision and the higher your language and the deeper you are connected to the flux and flow, the ebb and flow of the world and the beyond this world, you are the one who's able to perceive in these deeper levels. And it's the occult, it's the mysteries. It's not intended to be understood by those who would misuse, misrepresent, or misunderstand. They are on a different time space trajectory, and they're moving in a different way, no less vital to what we're all here doing. But with Anima Mundi coming out with the tear, I'm sensing that this brings you quite a bit of emotional sadness, to be separated, feeling alienated, perhaps not of this world. It feels like you're transcending the earthly dimensions here with your vision and with your connection. And what is this number? Let's see. 50, 60, 75, 6, 7, 8. 78 was Anima Mundi, I do believe. And then this is 52, the tear. But the tear is like the salt of the earth. We're here in these bodies for a reason. The salt of the earth. The Rainmaker card is showing up that was just in the Daily Dharma earlier today. And this tear here is like, because of our higher understanding, and please don't take this on the religious bend if you're not religious, but there's this idea of the Savior. I don't want to call it a complex. I want to call it complicated, and it is full of complexity. But if we are beyond this world, in of both or all multiplicity of dimensions, then we're here in this time and space and in this earthly rendering for a reason. And it's that when we experience emotion, that we are the conduit of consciousness and awareness and compassion, really birthing here, bringing the rain from the ethers into being. So under the deck here, we have the Maiden. Interesting choice here. What's that? 8. So 78, 52, and 8. Maiden is talking about a coming of age for me in this moment. The innocence, the innocence being the truer sense of the word virgin, not having never had relations, but in actually the purification process, being this pure spirit here, cleansing and purifying your vessel here, is assisting your process to bloom and to really bring this happy, joyful, playful essence here on earth. So I'll get more clarification here in let's use these Return to Spirit cards here for the moment. So anything further on Hawk, this messenger from the above dimensions? Starseed just popped out. Interesting, yeah. And I always enjoy this card, how it looks like this essence up here, this vastness, is all funneling down into this tiny little point here, the eye of the needle, and then filtering forward into this area that looks like the earth. And so it is that we are bringing so much down here that will help the ascension of the entire earth, Mother Gaia, other companions and tribe members, and I'm seeing a manta ray as well. Are manta rays some kind of alien type being in some lore? I'm not sure. That's the way it's coming through right now. But floating and gliding through the ethers, through the oceans of life. And then we have this tear. You're the ocean in a drop and also in a teardrop. The entire psyche and collective psychic awareness, the collective is able to have their pain transmuted through the tears that we would cry for their unconsciousness or lack of connection or inability to see their best interest, for example. Under the deck, divinity. I like that. I'm going to leave that there for the moment. Let's move on to elephant, this greatness. Love is your strength. Leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. So this is something about a perhaps slow-moving but very determined perseverance here. Having your earthly goals and believing the best. It's like with these messages, I may speak to myself here in my own little niche of my world, for instance, but I understand that the message is for those that will find it. And in that way, you are being told that whatever it is that you're doing, saying, however it is that you're being and becoming, you are already being revered by entities, beings that are beyond, guided with this great love. You really set the bar high for others. The flame, I love it. The flame here is 51. So we have 51 and 52. So the flame is the card that comes right before the tear. And this is talking about in your sacred space. Candle gazing came up in the Daily Dharma 1, and I had forgotten to light my candle, but it connects us through the ethers to the other elementals. It allows us to draw our energy up and outward and and connect across time and space. And it helps us to connect to our inner inspiration and inspire others. It's the candle, again, from that can light others' candles by the nature of your humble greatness, by your energetic enormity, all in this nice little package, whether you're big or small. I don't mean that. Oh, did I look at the bottom? The bottom is the hunter, this horse energy. It's a beacon and a lighthouse for others. And yeah, I sense that horse energy as being on a mission, going and having a calling and pursuing it with determination. And you'll get to your goal, whether it's on the earthly level or the spiritual level. Okay, maybe that's all that needed to come out for elephant. Now on the bottom we have the offering. What's that? 50, 60, 64, the offering. So I believe that you are offering others perspective, first of all, but also along this path, whether you perceive of it or not, I do believe that you are being gifted and offered so many opportunities throughout your day. And if you can perceive of this yourself, you will really bolster the inner flame and become the greater lighthouse with your energy. It's like the offering is also coming from spirit. Spirit is lighting our flame so that we can in turn light the flame back for the others in the world. Excuse me. Appreciate you guys so much. I encourage you, as always, to like, share, subscribe, comment, join the community. Help us get the algorithms to work in our favor so that others who are looking for these messages can seek and find. So somebody's looking for you. You are looking for someone or something to come in. Perhaps there are offerings, like a spiritual offering that you're providing, that you have your hand extended, calling forth, calling in, and keep going, keep understanding that this is all in good timing. Popping out, we have first, manifest. Yes. I would say manifestation either with the flame or with your inner flame. And the second one, divinity, came out for you as well. So manifesting divinity through the flame that you are, offering assistance with others to manifest from their highest. And the rainbow was in the previous forecast. It's like utilizing the light and light waves to help us to move with the flow, in the flow state, ever forward, ever moving forward on our path. Recognition. Yes, recognize how brightly you shine, even in your depleted status. Others are not where you are at. And I don't mean that as some kind of hierarchical way, but just that this can help us to really feel that to recognize and become aware of how critical we are in the process of others, and how when we stay in our divinity and greatness, how we can really help others to recognize the flame within themselves. So we're offering this for others, but we're also gaining this blessing here under recognition. Up, yeah, leveling up here. Okay, let's move on to Coyote. So Coyote, revealer of truth. Don't take things so seriously. Make time for play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly. So have you kind of taken a little bit of a humble trip up, or a little bit of a experimentation with the ego realms that left you feeling a little bit silly? Look out for those traps and tricks of life and learn from them. So releasing shame, blame, guilt, and looking at the deep inner truth. We have a lot of coyotes here, and it's interesting to hear them yipping and doing their calling across the open areas at each other and communicating from a distance, which is kind of telling me, especially with Hawk here as well, these are some powerful totems, talking to me about communication at a distance, entangled quantum matter, and also telepathy and out of body travel in some type of a way. So connection at a distance, I just want to give a quick, what I mean by that is that what we have become entangled with, people, places, situations, remains connected to us across time and space. Whether those individuals have died or gone away from our situation, like somebody who's left a job or something, old friends, things like that. We can look back on these situations that have taught us so much, and we might say, oh, I was so young then, why did I do such and such naughty thing as a teenager, or something like this. But at the truth of that, I know for myself and many, there were certain situations that I didn't feel peer pressured so much as I willingly engaged in things that I knew were not for my highest, but in an effort to connect, in an effort for adventure, in an effort for bonding and identity and connectivity. And so when we can look at things from that level, or bad relationships, let's look at that. Why did we get into them? There are probably times where people have engaged in relationships just for physicality, just for connection bonding, just for fun, or under the idea, an ideal that that there was something there to go the distance with. And in many of those situations, for many individuals, it doesn't turn out the way that we had planned. And there's that saying about, if you want a good laugh, look at your best laid intentions and then, see what happens. And it's not always 1 = 2, right? Everything kind of gets discombobulated. And that truth is under the surface, waiting for us to perceive of it. But yeah, laughing instead of shaming can really help us to put those things in proper context. So I stopped here because my attention was drawn. I've got the vessel and the seed. So for some of you, perhaps you've even had children with individual or individuals that weren't in your highest per se, that it didn't pan out as like those fairy tale stories where, oh, well, they lived happily ever after. Maybe you're doing things on your own, but coyote is one of a pack. We've got a pack animal and a herd animal here, and then we've got the deer under the deck here. It's like the coyote seems to be more aggressive, but they're actually quite fearful, I would suppose. And so is the deer. So let yourself off the hook in some manner and allow yourself that time and space to not judge self or others for what you couldn't see coming. It's all part of the divine mystery and why things had to happen a certain way. Like, those children are, if it was children in your situation, or if it was symbolic, different elements of your personality that came to the forefront from those experiences, whether it's defensiveness or, a little bit of jadedness or a momentary excitement or the experience of hope and love and faith. All of these things are revealing greater truth about our innocence and our beauty and our human dimensions. What's popping out here? The siren. Yeah, there's something about attraction patterns here and how temptation and how we've become in the previous or in current events for some, how we've been drawn into things, how they've called us and beckoned us in, whether for experience or otherwise, and how those things don't make us a bad person or others aren't bad people. Our exes are not bad people just because we were not their person. The siren wants to have more to say. Ooh, under the deck, the eternal child. This may also have to do with your childhood upbringing, especially if we're talking about attraction patterns. Those definitely have to do with the health and well-being of those who modeled that safety, security, or lack thereof in our past. Were we treasured? Were we taught how to appropriately play and then also take healthy responsibility and accountability from above? Were we honored for our voice and our personal self-expression? Or were we judged and criticized? There are all these things that are coming into the current revelation of truth in your own life about perhaps that's the attraction pattern, is you were really just looking to resolve something that you felt was either an unmet need or um, or in your innocence something that you felt that was easy enough to share, but that it came back to somehow bite you or burn you in some type of a way, like flying too close to the sun. What's that saying? I'm seeing caretaker under the deck. So your caretakers are part of this story, as well as the way that you caretake for self and also others. Do you displace your needs by projecting them upon others to fulfill and take care? Or do you see that happening with somebody important in your life? So, also with this eternal child, I'm seeing the sun, the solar sun, and then the vessel is below that. We keep talking about through the face of the sun, this guidance coming through the sun, and how those energies are coming through. It's rainbow energies, the accumulated experience of everyone, and how we foster the beauty and acceptance and belonging that that inner child needs to cultivate, and the passions and the curiosities that you have for yourself, being willing to engage in some healthy, adventurous exploration of your temptations. What have you not given yourself the time and space to experiment with that's on your, let's call it, the bucket list in the moment? So the siren is many things. So prayers are coming out. So this eternal child seems to be something to do with the prayers and the things that you've held very deeply, manifestations of wanting more childlike essence in your world. And perhaps it would be I mean, just as an example, like getting involved in a school as a lunchtime recess person that helps and watches children play, not in a creepy way, but to help and monitor and create safe boundaries and limits with others, and to oversee the childhood experience, and to allow yourself that playfulness that comes from watching those things. Somehow there's an engagement here that could be an answer to your prayers. Fostering, adopting. I know I'm talking about literal children, but also ways for yourself to play. Maybe you want to take a rock climbing class, or to take an ecstatic dance interlude. I think that's something I might take up. Storm. So there's a little storm warning here. So some type of temptation may not be in your best interest. And is that obscuring something that you really could be more served by indulging your playfulness and adventurous curiosities over here with this type of temptation, versus the time that's being sucked into a temptation such as an addiction or a codependency? Those are the type of things. It's like, listen to the prayerful nature of your inner self. And um, the storm is showing us how to consolidate resources and then expand from a more practical, more intentional, conscious standpoint to serve the inner child and to protect and provide for our inner self, and to create healthy limits for self, especially in this interpersonal dynamics, whether friends, family, or lovers. This siren with eternal child is like, there's something within you worthy of protecting, and don't let others exploit you in that way. Caretaker again. Take good care of yourself. Listen carefully to your prayers. And we're getting fairy magic with assistance here. So the playful fairy realms want to come forward and to delight your senses, to travel with them and to follow them towards what calls to you in a healthy way. So I think that's all we have time for today. As always, please do consider like, share, subscribe, joining the community conversation, starting a conversation. I know a few of you have tried. Let's get in on it, folks. One more oracle at the end here. Adrift in shallow water with this slow-moving sea turtle. Take a few deep breaths and reconnect to your inner peace. Notice the small things and appreciate them. So, as I always thank you for your time, your attention, your co-creation with me and with spirit, and for doing the damn thing. As always, take care. We'll check you out next time, guys. Bye.